Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Eric Tilson Show, presented by Starnes Barber, where we cover everything on the Tundra with the North Greene Huskies football team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Eric Tilson. Coach, how are we doing this afternoon?
Welcome.
Back to the round table?
Back to the round table.
I think I'm finally used to it now.
Yep.
It's the third week we've done it here now.
We got more space here. It feels more like a conversation.
I agree. We've got the football helmet and the football in front of us now. They look good. It's a nice touch. Love seeing North Greene green all over the room. The locker behind you is something special also. Is that one of the lockers that they use in the locker room?
I have no clue. That's been here since we just use it for coaches.
Okay. Was it here before you got here?
It was here, and we just kind of confiscated it and said, hey, we're putting our stuff in there. So we just kind of hide stuff in there.
Wonder where the number 29 came from. If that was just a random one or if it has any significance at all.
I don't know. I'd like to know. You know who we got to ask is Rosenbaum.
All right, we'll ask Rosenbaum.
Yeah, he knows everything around here. So we call him the institution because he's the institution of North Greene.
Let's talk about some North Greene football, though. Opened up the season week 0, week 1. I don't really know what you call it.
That's week 1.
Week 1, that's what I've been going by. Played the West Greene Buffaloes, hosted them here at home on the Tundra. I think in the first home opener you've actually had in week 1 in your tenure here at North Greene.
First year was at home.
Okay. So it's been a while.
It's been 3 years.
3 seasons, yes.
It's been 3 years.
But you finally got to return home for the first game of the season, kicked off against West Greene. Started fantastic, took a 16-0 lead real early. West Greene was able to claw from behind and win that game 32-16. Just take me through that game and through the emotions of it all.
Well, it couldn't start it off any better. Taking the first play, taking the first kickoff to the house, and we'd been working on some misdirection stuff on kickoff, and it worked about perfectly. It pulled a couple kids off of Brandon, hand the ball off to him, and he finds a crease and takes it. So couldn't start it off any better. And then coming out, we run one of our 2-point plays. Since we don't really have a kicker at this point, we designed a bunch of 2-point plays, and I told the kids, like, hey, there's no pressure here. We just need to convert 60% of the time overall throughout the season, and we win, all right, in the 2-point game. And we come out saying it almost worked, didn't quite, but still pretty exciting way to start. And then we kick the ball off, get a pretty good kick, good field position, and then they get a big play themselves. And then our defense gets a turnover, and we get the ball back. And then we kind of do what we do offensively, and we're able to march the ball down the field. And don't exactly remember what the order of events were, but we end up getting a turnover. We end up scoring. We convert a 2-point, which puts us up 16-0. And then from there, they start making adjustments, and that's when they started playing pretty well defensively, took away some of our top stuff that we like to do, and kind of forced us into some of our secondary type stuff, which is the game of football. And we just quite couldn't get over that hump. And when they blocked a punt, that makes things real difficult. Yeah. That's when they got their first score. And just from a percentage game, like when you block a kick, your percentage of winning goes up to like 70%. So that's something that really changes the outcome of the game when they block that punt, and we're kind of backed up at that point in the second quarter. Then it kind of changed the momentum from there. And then we don't convert on the 4th down, and they end up scoring on that drive as well. So then that gets it 16-16, and it kind of stays that point for a while. We struggle to get back to our identity offensively. We got pretty deep into our call sheet at that point, trying to figure out, okay, what's going to work here, what's going to be open. And we had a lot of self-induced errors at that point, coming down from decision-making on my end to play calling, even into players' execution of techniques and players' execution of assignments. And the good thing is, moving forward, it's all correctable stuff. So it's just different changes of like depths on certain route combinations, and make sure we're hitting the right depth from there. Make sure we're keeping our shoulder squares on down blocks, and moving our feet from there. Make correct distance on pitch relationship. Getting to our second read in the pass game. Making sure we move our front when they go unbalanced. Different stuff like that. That's all correctable. So that is positive, and we want to see success so bad, but we do keep pushing the envelope. This was the tightest margin versus the county school we've had, so we're pushing the envelope. It's like, from our standpoint, it's just not coming fast enough.
Yeah.
So it does get frustrating when you want to win that bad, and there's been a lot of hype around this team, and so it kind of humbles everybody for a little bit. Be like, okay, we got to get back to work and make sure we're doing what we're supposed to. And positive parts from Friday is Brandon had a really good game overall, offensively, defensively. Got to be able to get him the ball in space, because he can obviously do something with it. And then defensively overall, I thought they played a really good game, minus a couple alignment issues with the unbalanced stuff. They forced us into some unbalanced situations where we got to adjust our front, and we adjusted, but not quite enough at the time. And so we get that type of stuff fixed, then I think it puts us in a pretty good position to be able to go compete later on.
You've been around for a lot of high school football, just a lot of football games in general. You mentioned to me that was one of the craziest games that you've ever been a part of. Would it go on the Mount Rushmore of craziest high school football games you've been a part of?
I don't know about craziest of high school football overall, but it's pretty crazy for North Greene to start that strong, have that, and then have a big long delay, which we were very happy to hear about the outcome of that. That was a pretty scary situation. Thought the kid had a cramp.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of cramps at that point in the game, and all of a sudden we're trying to get ready to go out and go play again. We're thinking kid's about to get up and go walk out, and then all of a sudden I see our trainer laying down, bracing, and they're doing certain tests, and I'm like, this is pretty serious.
Yeah.
So having that emotion, and then you just kind of stop thinking about football at that point. So you're just like, okay, what do we need to do to make sure this kid's safe? And so I've got to commend our athletic trainer stepping up to the plate and make sure that kid was safe, and make sure he got to the EMTs and paramedics, and then we had to come out, and then to West Greene's credit, they came out and played inspired football after that, and we knew that there was going to be a storm, and we had to weather the storm, and we're first play coming back after the break. It's 3rd and 12, and we got to convert 3rd and 12. So we're trying to draw up something. Man, how do we get 12 yards when? So we're trying to do what we can, and it's like, well, hey, we're going to take a shot here. If we don't convert, we'll just punt it, and then we'll go play some good defense from there. And then they were able to settle in, and they kind of controlled the game from that point up front. So that's kind of how the tenor of the game went for the rest of the time.
It was a crazy first 5 minutes for sure. You could probably say that's one of the craziest 5 minutes of an opening game.
I think that's
yes.
more accurate. Yes, it was a crazy first 5 minutes.
2 fumbles, a safety, a kick return touchdown within the first 5 minutes, and you get that touchdown from Brandon to open the game. And then Jake Duffy with a 15-yard touchdown reception. Also, I heard he had a really good game on Friday night.
He did. He had, I believe, 10 catches, and he scored a touchdown and scored a 2-point conversion. He actually played center on that play.
Really?
Yeah, he snapped the ball, and then he kind of leaked out in the end zone, threw the ball, and scored.
So, I mean, plays like that, it's going to work.
Yep.
And I assume a lot of 2-point plays are going to be like that this year, where you're going to throw a lot of trick plays out there to see what sticks.
And we do have some prizes coming up the pipeline in terms of the kicking game, so just stay tuned.
All right, we'll have to for sure. But is there anything else you'd like to add from the West Greene game?
Got to say, those county rivalries are fun. Give credit to West Greene. Came out, played inspired football, played really well. I'd like to see us perform better, but now we got to move on next week and continue to improve, because I still think we got a good chance to be really good this year.
And it's a team that you're familiar with that you beat last year. So you got an opportunity to go here into week 2 on a little bit of a shorter week, but the good news is you get it at home. You don't have to make that long road trip up to Virginia to play Castlewood, but you've got Castlewood this Thursday on Labor Day weekend. But before we get into that, we need to go ahead and take a break first. So we'll talk about that right after the break, and we'll see you in just a minute here on Grassroots Media.
My name is Robert Starnes. I'm a lifelong resident of North Greene County, where I currently reside here with my wife and 3 children. I was a barber in Greenville for the last 6 years, but I have recently changed locations to my new shop in Baileyton. It's at 285 Mortis Hollow Lane, Afton. I'm also a proud supporter of North Greene Athletics. Come see me for all of your men and boys grooming needs. Go Huskies!
Baileyton Drug Company services the surrounding communities of Baileyton with excellent patient care using a full-line pharmacy, over-the-counter selections, and a convenient drive-thru. When you visit us, you are treated as a neighbor, not a number. It's not just our slogan, but our culture. We're investing in our patients, local schools, and community. For over 5 years now, we have established ourselves as an independently family-run pharmacy that isn't driven by corporate goals. We are driven by what is best for your overall health and wellness. We are conveniently located so you don't have to make the drive. Prescription drugs are just the tip of the iceberg. We also offer natural remedies, essential oils, at-home medical needs such as walkers, rollators, bath accessories, as well as wound care products. And coming soon, basic urgent care services. What makes us better than other drugstores out there? When you frequent Baileyton Drug, you will receive professional, courteous, and friendly service that goes above and beyond any other pharmacy in the area. Remember, you're a neighbor, not a number.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Eric Tilson Show, presented by Starnes Barber, where we cover everything on the Tundra with the North Greene Huskies football team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Eric Tilson. So you got Castlewood this coming Thursday night. It's a little weird playing on Thursday. It's always weird when you get a short week like that after playing on Friday night. But
and plus it's homecoming.
Oh, homecoming this early into the season too.
That was a surprise for everybody.
Wow.
And, of course, if you ask any head coach if they like homecoming, the resounding answer is no. They hate it. The more I thought about it when they said that homecoming was going to be this week, is at first I thought, man, this is about to be wild. A crazy short week. It's early in the season. We're about to be done with it. So get all the distractions done and out of the way.
That's true. You can get it done early.
Early in the year. So. But it should be an exciting atmosphere Thursday night, and of course, both teams are out of school on Friday, so everybody get to recover on that Friday.
That's true. You get a long weekend, and you get a little bit of a break going into next Friday too when you play. But going into this Thursday against Castlewood, it's a team that you're familiar with that I kind of mentioned. You played them up there last year, and I think you've played them all 4 years now that you've been head coach here at North Greene. You've had them on the schedule, so you kind of know a little bit what to expect. I know last year we talked about that they don't run that wing tee offense like they ran the first 2 years you played them. They strayed away from that.
Yep.
And now, as you've told me, they've got a new head coach again. So kind of talk about what you'll expect going into Thursday night with another new head coach and maybe a new system. What do you think you'll see?
It's kind of difficult because we're their opening game, so they
start
a week late, later than we do. So we're week 1 for them. They've had some scrimmages and a benefit game last week. They do have a new head coach, and kind of what I've seen so far, they have the same kids that they've had. They got some more kids out overall, but their main players are a lot of the same kids. Mm-hmm. They seem better coached, and they're flying around. They seem excited. And Castlewood historically is a very proud, storied football tradition up in Virginia. So when they're good, it's better for football in that area. So if they're able to get it back, it'd be a real good rivalry because they always bring a great crowd. They care about football there, and it's a good barometer when they're good to kind of see how good you are. So coming in, he does have a new system. We've kind of only got a couple films to kind of be able to see what they're trying to do. So I'm sure we'll see some stuff that we're not quite ready to see, just because we don't know exactly what they're going to be trying to do. But what we've seen so far is a heavy power run game, a lot of 12 personnel, tight end wing, very similar to kind of what we saw last week. Just a little more running back heavy. They got a big quarterback. If you were to put him and Darnell right next to each other, they're almost like twins. They look the same and are built about the same. They're one number off too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's who they have playing quarterback. He can throw the ball well down the field. They got a couple guys that can go catch it. So the big thing is they are huge up front. So they can get downhill in a hurry. So we got to be ready to go up front and be able to be physical at the point of attack, which we can do. I think we own some of the speed advantage, while they own some of the size advantage in that part. So it's kind of going to be the clash of whose strength,
whose style
is going to win out from there. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a hard knot contest. And again, I just think if we go out and go execute, we only have ourselves to worry about. And that goes for the entire year. Well, that's what we've talked about all year, is it does not matter who we line up against. If we go out and execute what we're supposed to do, then we can have a lot of success this year. Because I do believe we are a good team. And having a good team gives you a chance. So we have a chance in any game that we step foot in. We just need to give ourselves and just go execute. And that's kind of what this is going to be about.
That's an intriguing concept, too, going against a team that has more of a size advantage, but you have more of a speed advantage, too. Do you kind of like matchups like that where you think you can kind of have the advantage in your own department?
Sometimes. Depends on what the advantage is and kind of who it is. So it can be difficult as a coach sometimes when you don't have a whole lot of film to go off of, and their coach is from the Roanoke area, so we don't have a whole lot of common opponents or common people to talk to about.
Totally different region of football.
So it's completely different. So it'll be interesting, and should prove to be a pretty fun game. And again, it comes down to what we talked about with our kids. It's about execution. If we go out and just play how we play, then I think the rest will take care of itself, and then we'll surrender to the results from there.
I know you talked about their offense a little bit. Let's talk about their defense a little bit. I know you may not know what to expect a lot of because you haven't really seen much film on them, but talk about what you plan on lining up or what you plan on seeing when you line up on offense.
Well, they have a 4-4 structure, cover 3 base, so 3 deep. The big, I think they're going to stay in it because of the way you kind of see techniques of what they're running, and the way that their secondary is coached. So it kind of gives you an idea of what type of structure they're in. And then from there, the big question is how are they going to line up to how we do things, and then that'll kind of determine what we're able to run, especially on the pass game wise. And that was one thing like West Greene took away because they had a different structure than what we've seen the entire preseason. We saw a lot of cover 3, a lot of 4-4 type teams during the preseason, and then West Greene was a cover 2 outfit, running a 3-4, so a little bit different structure there. So this is getting kind of back towards more of what we've seen throughout this preseason. So our kids should be a little more comfortable in terms of what they run. They are 4 down. Again, they're 4 down because they're real big up front. And then they got a couple of linebackers that are really aggressive, and their secondary guys can run. So we'll kind of see who wins out at that matchup. But again, I think our skill guys on the outside, they can, if they come out and execute, I feel confident going into the game, but we do have to go out and execute. They're good enough to give us some fits.
I will admit Castlewood is one of the toughest interviews for me to conduct because of that factor where you don't really know what to expect because it's their first game. You don't have a lot of film on them. You don't really know what to expect a lot.
We're the only team in this area that plays them. So.
Exactly. So you don't have a common opponent where you can get film from. It's their first game of the year. They've switched head coaches again. So you really don't know what to expect and don't know his tendencies of what he likes to run. So if anybody from Castlewood sees this, you keep me on my toes just as much because It's a tough interview to conduct every year because you don't know.
I'm lucky that I have coached in Virginia, so I do know some people. So we're making phone calls trying to get film from Roanoke and trying to see tendencies. So, but and again, it's like different type of kids too.
Yeah.
So it proves to be, and that's the fun part about coaching too, is trying to really dial in and trying to figure out and kind of playing that chess match. But they seem a lot better coached. They seem excited, and they are an improved football team.
But as always, in every interview, 3 keys to the game.
3 keys to the game.
What are they?
Well, we got to play great defense. Right, we got to have great effort, and playmakers got to make plays.
There we go. All 3 remain the same as always, Coach.
Yep.
Once again, I appreciate you for sitting down with me at the round table.
At the round table at the Tundra.
Round table at the Tundra. Is that what we're going to call it?
We can roll with it.
All right. We might come up with a new name next week. If anybody has a name for it, let us know down in the comments. We'll hold a poll. But that's it. That's all we've got this week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Eric Tilson Show, presented by Starnes Barber. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.